Good morning, everybody. My name is Taylor Watson, and I am a certified personal trainer, and I'm also a certified ACE nutrition specialist. I have been coaching for about 2 years now, and I've just been involved in fitness personally for since college, so it's been like well over 6 or 7 years at this point. I wanted to take today to talk about a couple different things. With this being a holiday weekend on Memorial Day weekend, we've got 3 days, and I know that a lot of people are going to be out drinking, visiting family and friends, going on little vacations and things like that. So I was just thinking about what could be helpful for people who are out and about and just keep us on track for our goals, because that's going to be something super important, that regardless of whether we have holidays or not, we're still working hard towards whatever we're trying to achieve. So today's topics are tracking alcohol, how to do it, and how to calculate the number of fat and carb grams that are in alcohol. We're going to talk about high fiber foods and the importance of fiber. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to talk about alcohol and how to track it. Tracking alcohol is really important because anything we put in our body is going to affect whether or not we achieve our fitness goals. Alcohol does have calories in it. It's not a freebie. When we drink alcohol, it does count towards our overall calorie intake. I'm a firm believer in a balanced lifestyle and that you can still achieve your goals while having some drinks now and then. I don't personally drink anymore, at least not to the extent that I used to. When I was in college, I loved to go out and party. Now that I'm older, it's not something that I do very often, and it's just not a priority in my lifestyle. I personally, this is kind of going off track, I found that alcohol and my lifestyle just don't mix together. When I drink, I'm just not the same person, and I've actually given up drinking for the most part. I will have a drink here and there, but it also tends to lead to me drinking too much, being at like 100 pounds. Even one drink does have an effect on me. So I really have just given up drinking all around. It just isn't good for me personally. Anyway, getting back on track. Let's talk about tracking alcohol. So first things first, when we track alcohol, in MyFitnessPal, if we were to just scan a bottle of alcohol, for example, it's going to show up with the calories, but the carb count is going to be off. And if we are tracking our overall macros, it's going to be really important that we're much more accurate with it than just what it shows. Alcohol is different because it has 7 calories per gram. So if we were to weigh out the amount of alcohol we are drinking per gram, it's different from a carb and fat because fats have 9 calories per gram, whereas a carb has 4 calories per gram. So alcohol is right in the middle of a carb and fat. It just processes differently in our body. We have to be a little creative with how we track it. And it's going to involve probably entering your own numbers in order to do that. So in order to log it as a carb, you can see my card here, we will take the calories divided by 4. But if we want to log it as a fat, we take the calories divided by 9. So I have a beer here. This is a Spotted Cow. You can only get it in Wisconsin. I still haven't drank them because I just don't drink. So if anybody wants Spotted Cow, holler at your girl as long as you're over 21, because I will give it to you. And I looked up the calorie content because alcohol isn't required to put the same nutrition labels on it as food. So I looked it up, and it is 150 calories per bottle. So in order to log my Spotted Cow as a fat or a carb, I'm going to have to take that 150 and either divide it by 9 to get fat grams, or 150 divided by 4 to get the carbs. So when I do the math, I find that I get 16 grams of fat, and then I get, 37.59 grams of carbs. And so the way that I would enter that is I would go into MyFitnessPal, create my own food, and log it that way. And I can show you shortly how to do that. I'm going to open up MyFitnessPal, and hopefully you can see my screen here. I'm logging into MyFitnessPal. Give it a second to load. And I'm going to go to my diary for the day. So what I will do is go here to the add button, that plus food, and I'm going to put it under snacks. So if I look up Jack Daniel's whiskey, what I get is I see that it says 65 calories, but notice that it has absolutely nothing for the carbs, fats, and the protein. And so that's where our numbers are gonna get off if we just log it as 65 calories. It's gonna say that you have macros left over that you have actually consumed. So this is where we would take the Jack Daniel's whiskey and create our own entry. We're gonna create a food by clicking that plus button up in the top, create a food, and now let's name it and enter it. Intermission here while I do this. Serving size is 1.5 fluid ounces. Servings per container, I usually just write 1. You can put as many as you want, because obviously that's a whole bottle, but I just do 1.5 fluid ounces and 1 serving per container. And so this is where I'm gonna enter my own information. So if I log this, I'm gonna put, starting, we know that it is 65 calories per shot. So I'm gonna put 65 up here in the calories. And then I'm gonna go down to logging it as either a carb or a fat. So remember, if we log it as a carb, it's going to be 65 divided by 4. If we log it as a fat, it's going to be 65 divided by 9. I'm gonna put it towards my carb goal today because I like fats coming from other things. So 65 divided by 4, when we did that math, was 16.25 grams. And so I enter that in the carbs, I hit the check mark. It's gonna ask if I want additional information. We probably don't have that information unless you really wanna look it up. Otherwise, just leave it blank, say no thank you. And then I have created an entry. So I'm gonna add it in. And so I got whiskey in there. And you can see here now that when I click on it, it tells me that 16.2 grams of carbs are from my whiskey drink. And that's gonna count towards my overall. It's gonna help me stay on track, and I'm gonna be able to reach my goals. Let's say we had a second shot. I'm gonna do the same thing. And I've already entered this one, so I actually will just look it up. So whiskey, actually this is a different whiskey, but I'm just gonna pretend it's there. So notice it's about the same calories. This is 56 though. So I have 6 grams of fat. Notice there's no carbs. I'm just going to enter it as a fat now because I had a second shot, and now I want to put it towards my fats because I'm running low on carbs, and I'm just going to add it in, and now that counted towards my overall. So it's keeping track of my calories, it's keeping track of my carbs and fats, and I am staying on track and making progress. What we have is talking a little bit about fiber, where we can get fiber in the universe. Why do we need fiber? Fiber helps regulate our digestive system. It helps with having healthy bacteria. It helps us just go number 2. And overall, it's going to help you stay fuller for longer and keep you on track for your goals, because if we're not eating enough fiber, our hunger tends to go up. Fiber actually helps regulate our hunger cues, and so if you have enough fiber, you're less likely to feel hungry and deprived. For women, it's about 25 grams per day recommended. For men, it's closer to 30. If you're not tracking fiber, this is a really great time to learn how, because if you're on a diet and you're feeling really hungry, check out your fiber numbers. If they're really low, like 10, 13, under 20, I would say, you're probably a lot hungrier because you're simply not feeling full enough. And if you notice that you're not going to the bathroom very well, it's probably your hunger and your water intake, or your fiber and your water intake, so it's going to be really important to increase. So I grabbed some of my favorite high fiber foods to show you guys what I eat to help me reach my fiber goal. You may have some different ideas. We know that they come from fruits and vegetables and whole grains, but I'm just going to show you how to check out a nutrition label and watch for the fiber. So first things first, I am a frozen vegetable lover. I don't buy fresh very often because I just don't eat vegetables fast enough and they tend to go bad, and I hate wasting food, so frozen it is. I have a bag of sweet peas and a bag of seasoned broccoli. Simply flip it over, check out the nutrition label, and you can see here that for 89 grams, or 2/3 of a cup, that's 70 calories, and we get 4 grams of fiber, or 16% of your daily value. So this is actually a decent fiber food. It would help me get 16% of my overall goal of like 25 or 30. Very good to have. Along with that, how about broccoli? Let's check it out. So for 1 1/4 cup, or 85 grams, you're going to get 2 grams of fiber. So 85 grams versus 89 grams. My peas have more fiber than my broccoli, because this one's sitting at just 2 grams and this one is sitting here at 4 grams. So this is going to be a high fiber food for me to eat at about the same macronutrient levels, calories, and so on. I love whole grains, and let me just show you the difference between like whole grains and your regular stuff. So here's my whole grain rotini and fairway elbow macaroni. It's going to be the same in grams. It's 2 ounces for a serving on both of these, and for my regular I only have 2 grams of fiber per 2 ounces of noodles. On this one, for 2 ounces, I actually get 7 grams of fiber. And so this is a whole grain noodle, and that is why we often encourage people to eat more whole grains, is because it's just a way easier way to get your fiber in, to feel fuller, and actually end up saving on calories too. So the difference in this is only about 20 calories, but if I'm eating a couple servings, that could save me anywhere from, 60 to 100 calories. This is a One Nutrition bar. For one bar, it's 220 calories, but it does have 20 grams of protein, 24 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat. But from those carbs, I have 9 grams of fiber, so this is a very high fiber bar, and that's 32% of my overall. So right here, this is a third of my overall fiber intake, and I'm also getting something protein packed, and it's also super delicious and sweet. It's a chocolate brownie. I always recommend, if you're gonna look for a protein bar, check out their fiber content too, because it does kind of give you a feel of what the quality of it is, because if we're eating a lot of protein but we're not getting a lot of fiber along with it, it's just gonna plug you up and not make you feel as full. Different wraps. I eat a lot of tortillas or like wrap sandwiches. These are flat out wraps, and then this is Mama Lupe's tortillas. Both of them are lower calorie compared to like a mission tortilla, your white flour tortilla. For the flat outs, for one flatbread, it's 90 calories and you're getting 10 grams of fiber. Again, that's really close to almost a third. And so I could eat one wrap and fill it with vegetables and protein, and I'm well on my way to my overall fiber goal, and I'm gonna feel very full from eating that. And then I have Mama Lupe's, which is only 60 calories per wrap. And it's a very low carb wrap. It only sits at 7 grams. And so it has 4 grams of fiber per wrap. So if you think about it, that's a very high fiber wrap for what it is. It's a little smaller than your flat outs, but one tortilla, again, is gonna get me closer to my goals. And I have less carbs in it as well, which is awesome. And I love Mama Lupe's, so if you're looking for a new tortilla, go ahead and try those. And that's how you essentially look at fiber content and make a decision towards your goals. Again, macro counting is just a big puzzle. You have to fit all the pieces together, and those are just some of my favorite things that I eat to help me stay on track for my goals and keep my digestive system happy.